Hey, you guys. It's literally me. I'm Bunny. Sometimes I buy stuff, sometimes I say stuff, and sometimes I do stuff. What's up, guys? Thank you so much for clicking on this video. I want to start off by saying if you hear any background noise, it's because I have my mother-in-law here. She is staying for the week because she is moving into my neighborhood. It's been, I mean, I'm sure if you've dealt with some family stuff, you understand. Anyway, we are here today because we're just gonna like chill and have a discussion about my 1 year girls update. So January 31st was exactly 1 year since I had my breast augmentation. Now, I know like most of you are just like kind of regulars of my channel and you like kind of know the story and everything, but I am making this video in case anybody does kind of search for breast augmentation videos like I did when I initially went through this process. I just wanted to provide like kind of an educational, informational video about my experience and then what I kind of dealt with during the year and what I'm dealing with right now. I also am going to have some photos. I'm just prefacing that because they're personal and I do have like stuff blocked, so it should be okay, but this is strictly for informational purposes. Just before we get started, if you don't know, I do have a weight loss story. I do have a video on like the entire story of that. I'll link it up here if anybody is interested. I know I did it early on in my YouTube journey, so I didn't get like a ton of views, but if you are interested in where I came from to get to this, it's gonna be in there. But anyway, I made the decision way after I had some skin removal surgeries and all of that to go ahead and try and get these breasts. And I, unlike a lot of women that were very morbidly obese in their lifetime, never actually had large breasts. I was like a B cup even when I was in the mid 300 pounds. So I never really had boobs and I don't know what that's like, and that definitely shows now. So I did decide to do this last year after a ton of research and everything. I mean, I'll just start out. I am not sure if I made the right decision. It's kind of like a love-hate thing at this moment, like to this day. It's like some days I like them. I mean, obviously, like in something like this, they look great, but I am also very active and all that kind of stuff. And I'm kind of 50-50 on did I make the right decision or would I do this again? So anyway, let's kind of start from the beginning. I had a very traumatic actual first operation. It was because I didn't get the IV put in correctly, and so I didn't have the relaxing cocktail, and they didn't realize it until I was pretty much on the table, and then I had like two adults just sticking my hands and arms like trying to get a vein in, but they had to gas me to like get me out, and it just wasn't enough during the procedure, and it was like kind of like a scary thing. My recovery was absolutely traumatically horrible. I know probably a lot of women experience like an intense amount of pain and everything, but like all of my research and everything, it was like pretty like dealable, and I feel like for me it was like absolutely terrible. I know I'm not like special or anything when it comes to that, but like my doctor did like say, because I go to the gym every day and I do train, or I did train chest before this operation, my pectoral muscles were highly developed, and so what happens is they go underneath those muscles and like separate them from the chest wall and then put the implant in there, and then they have to kind of relax in order for your implants to drop and like settle into place. And I, unfortunately, having these really developed pec muscles, just it took a long time. And he said when he got in there that he noticed that they were like really developed and that it was going to be a long time before they actually relaxed and settle down. So I had a very painful recovery process. I actually did get worried a little way through because like one of them was dropping faster and like it was just, it kind of looked weird. I know from all of my research that it was like you have to give it time. And that's, I mean, if I can say one thing to somebody that's maybe interested in doing something like this, you have to just give it time. I mean, it's been a year for me and I still feel like I'm like going through some things, and I can't really stress enough that like you're not going to have the result that you want like the next day, the next week, the next month. Like it took me a year, and I really don't even think that I'm still there yet. So like, let's go into some photos just so that you can see. Again, these are like personal, and I'm going to reiterate again, I had skin removal surgery. I lost a ton of weight. So like my abdomen is not in the best shape. But I am going to show you a photo of what I looked like the day of surgery, so no boobs. The day after surgery is going to be the one in the middle, so that is fresh out. And then the one that is on the end is pretty much like yesterday, so 1 year later. And you're going to be able to see kind of the progression of like what this looks like. Okay, so this first photo, obviously, day of surgery, I have very tiny, tiny boobs. And in the second photo, you can actually see how high up they are on my chest. I mean, it was like ghastly. I couldn't even believe it. It was like, oh my God, these things look so weird. Doctor told me they're going to look rectangular and weird and to like not worry about it. You can honestly see like how like swollen my abdomen is too. Like it kind of messed up like a whole bunch of stuff. I've got like a little swelling pocket on the side there. I mean, it looks terrible, and it's really, really scary. And this last photo is, you know, a year later. You can see that they've definitely dropped and softened out. I do have like pretty decent shape, especially coming from that first photo to this one. So you see a year, and let me tell you, in the photo in the middle to the next photo in the end, that whole process was absolutely just, it was crazy. Like every day I looked in the mirror and I was like, oh my God, I don't know if I made the right decision. It was just like, if you're watching this video and you're going through something similar, believe me, girl, I'm assuming girl, but hey, guys too, guys, this is like, it's a journey for you. Like, and I totally understand. I'm right there with you. If you think that something is going wrong, like just hold on a little bit. Like, I had some like crazy things happen. I had some scar tissue that kind of got caught in my incision, and I had this shooting pain, just debilitating pain. It was so bad. And all you can really do is take medicine and just massage. Massage is like the most important thing. I was going into the bathroom every like 20 minutes when I was at work, and you have to like grab your boob and like move it around and try and like loosen up that muscle. And it sucks. It hurts. It's painful, but like you're just trying to relax those muscles so that the implant can like settle into place. So I remember like 3 months or 4 months after I had the operation, I finally went out to a dance club, and it was, you know, I had to wear like a very constrictive sports bra. Another thing about this whole thing is like, I used to run around with no bra on like all the time because I had like these tiny itty bitty boobs, and like now I cannot do that. I have to have something on like all the time because it feels like they're just like pulling down if I don't have any support. And I really, really do miss that about my small boobs. So please, if you have small boobs and you can like throw on a tank top and just like run around, understand that that is pretty much over. I talked to like all these women that were like, oh yeah, I go out without a bra on all the time. My blouses look so nice. And I'm not there. I'm honestly not there. I wish I was. It's so unfortunate. Like as soon as I get home, you know, as soon as you get home from work, the best thing is just to take your bra off and throw a t-shirt on. Yeah, I have to put a sports bra on and just like lay around the house in a t-shirt, like, cause I can't. It's kind of disappointing. Anyway, I went out to that dance club. I made it through the night. I did take a muscle relaxer relaxer before we went. We enjoyed the show and everything. So that was like kind of my first step out. I did go on some vacations where I was able to wear some bathing suits that, you know, those are the times where you're like, hey, maybe I did make a right decision or whatever. But I will say, and I will talk a little bit more about this in a second, but I have pain almost like every day. Now, at the beginning, it was like a little bit more debilitating, but even a year later, I am still having like random ache, dullness, pain in my breasts. Like, and it can be here, it can be here. It's not the incision line, it's more of like where that muscle pocket is. So on January 31st, I had my 1-year follow-up with the surgeon, and I had a couple issues that I wanted to talk about. One being the aching pain that, you know, I have pretty much daily. And then the other thing was my left breast has kind of, and this is, I feel weird about this. My left breast has like kind of migrated over to the side a little bit, and he did show me at my 6-month follow-up when I asked about this, he showed me my before pictures, and I mean, granted, no girl's boobs are totally symmetrical, like I get it. But that one in my real shape without implants was kind of off to the side a little bit. And so the natural progression is just for it to like kind of go. So when he measured me at 6 months, I had migrated 5 millimeters, I think, to the side. This time when I went in for my 1 year, I asked about it again because I do feel like this one is definitely, it's just in my way. I don't really know how to like say it. Like I can feel my arm rub against it all the time. This side is like totally fine, but this side is just like a little bit more out. And he measured it again, and it was now a centimeter off center. And he talked about the things that he can do to fix that. He didn't want to suggest like sutures where they go in and then they sew up the muscle because that's like a very invasive like surgery. He did say that he could like cauterize the muscle, which would like burn it and tighten it and like try and get that one back into like more of a central position. But it's just my natural body shape, so my breast just wants to go that way. I don't like it. Like I really don't like that. Again, I didn't have really like a lot of boobs, so I didn't notice it, but like now that they're full, I do notice it. And then the other thing I wanted to talk about was the dull pain with him. And I told him about it when we first sat down. And he was like more concerned with the migrating of the implant. He wanted to make sure that the implant wasn't like coming out of the pocket, which it wasn't. It's just my natural shape. But when he laid me down on the chair and started like reclining me back so that he could see it like fall when I laid down, he was like touching them to make sure that they were still in place. And when he touched this one, which was the one that was hurting that day, I like reacted. And then he felt like a little bit more around, and he said that I could possibly have a very mild case of capsular contraction. Capsular contraction. So I'm like, what is that? You know? And he said it's when the muscle pocket of your body like kind of like seizes up, and in really bad cases, it can make the breasts look like really bad. Like one can be like up here, or they can be like scrunched in and you can see the skin like kind of like tightening up. He said I might have a very mild case of that because they're so sore and I'm getting these aches and everything. And I'm like, I don't like this. So he had a solution for that, but I don't think I'm going to do it. He said what he usually does, and this is, I checked on like the Real Self boards and everything. This is like kind of a common practice, and it sounds kind of weird, but they prescribed you 3 months of Singulair, which is a seasonal allergy med. And it has something to do like with the antihistamines and these like blockers that come out. There is something in Singulair, and also another drug that was stronger, but said you had to get like liver tests and stuff. And I was like, I ain't even interested. But the Singulair is supposed to like block something that helps these muscles like soften up. And so it relieves the pain. And apparently it's not like a, you know, board passed thing, but it has worked for a lot of people. So a lot of plastic surgeons like, I don't know, recommend it for some people. I went to go look up if there was a generic for singular, and I saw that it has just some really bad side effects, particularly for mood, depression, and all of that. And not that, I don't want it to work, but I'm susceptible to medications like pretty highly. And I don't think that I really want to go that route. The other thing that I wanted to talk to him about was I feel like they're big. I feel like they might have gone too big. Now, that is my own personal opinion because I know that he chose this size, and I have had many people verify he chose this size for my body size. And believe me, I can agree. They size-wise match my body. They give me the shape that my body is supposed to be because I'm not like a tiny girl. So they're probably what would look best on me. And a lot of my friends, after I had the surgery and I would hang out with them, they didn't even notice that I had them done until I mentioned it. And they're like, oh yeah, they look so natural. I had totally forgot. So sorry. My husband loves them. He thinks they look perfect and everything. But just for me personally, I feel like they are a little bit too big. I did get 450cc regular, I think, saline implants. Saline? Silicone. Fuck. I don't know, man. Whatever he suggested, whatever the most common one is, underneath the muscle. And I feel like they're a little bit big for my body. I mean, I know they look great. I get it. But just with how active I am and just the overall volume, I feel like they're just the bras that I have to wear are so large, and I tend to like a constricting bra to minimize the projection in size, and I would really like to get out of those. So I did actually ask him what the process and recovery would look like if I wanted to go smaller. And he said it's way easier because obviously when I had these ones put in, my muscles had to stretch out and then go back. And then if you go smaller, it's just going to be less of a time because your muscles don't actually have to stretch out from nothing. They're already stretched. It'll just be kind of a lesser recovery time because they're just going to be pulled open for the implant exchange and everything. He said if I wanted to do that, he, obviously doesn't recommend it because most women want to go bigger eventually. And here I am a year later. I'm like, I want to go smaller. He did say if I decided that I wanted to go that route, that there are a couple things that we can do. He did say that maybe he would do a 380 and a 360 in them to kind of even them out a little bit because this one does kind of drift because my natural boob was just bigger, And he also said at that time he could cauterize this one so that it would sit more kind of, in the center. So I'm not doing that anytime soon. I just like I said at the beginning of this video, I had such a traumatic recovery period. I really am not looking forward to any more surgery here in the near future, but it is something that I am going to think about, especially in this next year if I continue to have some of the breast pain and just having an issue with the overall size and how it affects my life. I mean, I say affects my life as in he basically told me I am not allowed to train chest at the gym anymore. Never another dedicated chest day. I can't do flies. I can't do any of that. He said with my back and bicep and all the other types of exercises I do that I can work the muscles enough, but I don't need to do another dedicated chest day in case I injure something and then it ends up pulling up or something like that. So, can't do that again anymore. Normal chores like vacuuming are still very difficult. Every time I do something that requires a motion that kind of makes that muscle, it's difficult. I notice it. It's not I have just a normal life anymore. It's very weird to get comfortable in bed. When I lay on my back, I can feel them kind of go like this. And I understand that women that have large breasts, that probably happens all the time. But for me, it's weird. It's affecting my daily life. All that being said, I do understand that I had a pretty good result, like aesthetically. Like it does, they look okay, you know, like definitely gave me the roundness and fullness that I was looking for. I did want to have kind of like, you know, nice round breasts, like because I never did as a woman ever, and I just wanted to try it. And you know, I am kind of curvy and a little bit like voluptuous, so I just wanted something that like kind of matched me. It wasn't really for looks, it was just to like feel more feminine. Again, I'm 50-50. Like I don't know if I made the right decision, and I don't know if like it's hard to say, guys. It's like a tough thing for me. And I think a lot of you, when I came back after my recovery and I was like filming some like, you know, Temu and makeup videos or whatever, I kept telling you, I'm like, these things are in my armpits. I hate this. I want this to be over. I still, to this day, a year later, do not feel like they are part of my body. And I am waiting for that day that I'm like, yep, you know, they're mine. And I don't feel like there is this thing on top of me. And like, I've seen so many girls. It's so hard when you watch YouTube and like try to like research like normal people that had this done, because I watch so many women that like after 4 months they're like, yeah, I can't even tell, like I'm just doing my normal thing, everything's back to normal. And I'm like, I'm not like that. So if you're watching this video and you're going through something similar, just know that I'm out here, like I'm still trying. Still trying. I mean, they look great. You can see I'm wearing this Killstar top. I mean, these are the, like, it's the reason that you get them. Like, they're nice. I feel like they're large for how much, like, running for me is hard. Guys, it's just, I don't really know how I feel about it, you know? Can you tell? One last thing to note before I leave. Listen, guys, the nipple sensitivity, holy mother of God. They are so sensitive. Like there was a period where I couldn't even wrap a towel around me without being like, ah. It is so weird, like how I heard that like some women like lose some sensitivity. Not me. I am definitely like super sensitive, and it's kind of annoying at sometimes, if you know what I'm saying. But yeah, I didn't want this to be like a whole like shitting on my implants video, but I know it kind of like sounds like that. But really, I was just coming on here to like talk about it in case anybody else is dealing with this stuff. I'm a human. I'm out here, like, I'm dealing with the same things, and I am trying to, one, accept the way that they are, but I am, two, looking in the future to see if there is something that I can do to try and, like, combat some of the issues that I'm having, especially, like, aesthetically and physically, like, the size and the daily kind of dull ache pain. So that is what I have to say about it. Thank you for sitting here with me. I know that this is not like, you know, mass like content for people, but like I said, if I can like tell somebody that's looking at videos, because I watched a ton of videos of girls that were going through this, and it's just so crazy because even when they weren't dropping, like after 4 months, I was watching videos. I'm like, why is everyone's boobs dropping? Why are mine not? It's just like every single person is different. And this was my story. And I just want you to know, just hang in there. Just like I'm hanging in here. Thank you so much, guys. If you could please like this video, it really does help me out. If you comment down below, tell me they look great. Just tell me they look great. Like, just I need some positive reinforcement. And if you can subscribe to follow all of my antics, that would be the awesomest. I love you guys so much. I will see you on the next one. Bye!